Good morning, all of you. So we'll continue with the viscosity. So today, let me focus more on the numericals. Yesterday, we just had a brief idea, theoretical ideas. So today's class, what happened? We'll just discuss the different set of the numericals, that one. And in the end, we'll go for also the introduction of Poiseuille's equation. Fine. Some small theoretical information. Okay, just read once. I'll explain it. Regarding the viscosity, how it will vary with the temperature, pressure. It's just an information. It is there in most of the NCERT books also. Effect of temperature on viscosity. Okay, first let me for most of the relatively insensitive to pressure until rather high pressure have been obtained here. So now if you look at the most of the liquids, what will happen to the viscosity? It will decrease. What do you mean by viscosity? First of all, the force of friction that is exerted by the adjacent layers to oppose relative motion between the layers. Where do we see this viscosity? For the liquid only. If a liquid is in motion, the adjacent layers will exert force on each other to oppose relative motion between the layers. That is called like this particular property is called as a viscosity. Fine. So what will happen to pressure? See, I can vary the pressure. So if I increase or decrease the pressure, any effect on the viscosity? No, the viscosity will not change. So tell me like what is viscosity? This particular symbol. This is what no. So anything will happen to this quotient of viscosity or all this particular property that one. So it will not change. It is insensitive to pressure. So for almost all the liquids, water is an exception is telling. Its viscosity decreases with increasing in pressure at constant temperature. There's just information at our level. I think this information will be sufficient and very important. It is also stressed in NCERT book. Almost all the liquids, if you vary pressure, viscosity will not change. The eta will not change. For water or pen, increase pressure, viscosity decreases. I'll slightly underline it. Are you seeing this? But for the viscosity usually rises with pressure at the viscosity of liquid usually rises with pressure at constant temperature. Water is then rises with pressure at constant temperature. Only at higher pressures, that one. I think you should be very careful about relatively insensitive is telling until high pressure. When high pressure is maintained, the liquid, the viscosity of liquid what will happen as you increase pressure, the viscosity also will increases. Water is an exception where as you increase pressure, the viscosity decreases. For low pressures, there won't be any change in viscosity. I think you should able to grasp this idea. Only at high pressures we can notice there'll be increase in viscosity as we increase pressure. These are information. Water, what will happen? As we increase pressure, viscosity decreases. At low pressure, no change in viscosity. Fine. For most of cases, practical instruct, however, the effect of pressure on viscosity of liquids can be ignored. This was the condition they have put it. Okay, what happens to temperature? As you increase temperature, the viscosity decreases. Any reason for that? As you increase temperature, the vibration of molecules will increase. Due to vibrations, what will happen? The interaction between the molecules will decrease and the viscous drag will decrease. And there's a reason what we can give. As you increase the temperature, because what is the viscosity? It's a due to interaction of molecules of the adjacent layers. So as you rise the temperature, the interaction between molecules decreases and that will decrease the viscosity. This is the one primary reason what we can give. Fine. Okay, next afterward, this is something streamline flow and turbulent flow is telling. Okay, I can't separate. Okay, now I'll highlight. For streamlined flow in narrow pipes. What actually won't, once again, I'm going for this. So what is the basic support for this particular thing? So what is the formula? So I should take help of this formula. We know critical velocity is equal to eta Reynolds number by rho into this diameter of inner diameter of pipe. Will I agree this? If velocity of the flow less than critical streamline flow. If velocity of fluid greater than critical velocity, streamline or laminar it is, then it is turbulent flow. Okay, no, let's analyze one thing. For a streamline to flow, for a streamline flow in narrow pipes means what is the diameter will be very small. Okay, like this, high viscosity, low density. Then critical velocity what happen will be more. Yes, I'll get a streamline flow. Then broader pipes, definitely radius will be large. Then critical velocity will be very less because so for that particular what happen, the viscosity should be low, viscosity will be less, and the density will be high. Broader pipes, what happen, the liquid should move with a less velocity. That's the main reason. So why you are thinking like this here? For broader pipes, what happen, the liquid should flow with a less speed. Then only what happen, streamline will occur. For critical velocity to be less, these are the conditions should be satisfied. Narrow pipe, the liquid can flow with high speed. For broader pipe, the liquid should flow with a lower speed. Then only streamline will occur. So for the lower speed, definitely what is the condition required? This is a requirement. Is it okay? This is the simplest thing. All these are theoretical ideas. I'm just wanted to put it one place. Now regarding Stokes law, we'll go for Stokes law again. Any condition for Stokes law means it is valid for all the in any situation or so any constraints will put it. So Stokes law. Stokes law is applicable. First thing, sphere should be reached. Next again, liquid around the sphere must be laminar. No, 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 no. Don't neglect radius. Huh? Don't do all that one. How you neglect radius? It should not be that one. Just accept the data. Okay, this is one basic liquid around the sphere must be laminar flow. Next again, what should be the liquid boundary of the liquid? Infinite boundary of liquid. Boundary of liquid must be infinite. Okay, these are a very primary conditions for the Stokes law to be valid. So possibility of anyway theoretical things they'll ask you. This is something it's a data. Just we should have some information because as a student, I think in exam not possible. There's a theoretical information which if a students remembers, it'll be much easier. Stokes law is something very important. We should strict condition for if there's some elastic body, if you release, no, Stokes law is not applicable. The reason for that, because the sphere as it moves now due to viscous drag, it may change shape like this. then what will happen? Even the buoyant force formula also will change. Even the viscous drag formula also will change, no? From spherical to this one. So therefore, it's telling that to be rigid. Sphere must be rigid here. Because see, the 6 pi eta RV, you brought it to be spherical. But if the sphere as it moves, if it is elastic, it can undergo deformation. If it takes like this, no longer that formula is applicable. No, therefore, the law is applicable only when there's a condition. And the liquid around the sphere must be laminar flow. Okay, these are the some elementary things which we are supposed to remember things. So when it comes in exam, no, so these are some theoretical things which books they have stressed it. Okay, let's take some few simple questions. And now if we have a I'll move this plate. Okay, what minimum force I can apply so that the viscosity below the plate will be 4 eta, that above the plate will be it will be eta, that one. So at what distance and what is the minimum force? I should move the plate here. So everywhere there's a liquid. Below one liquid is there, above one liquid is there. So where I should move this plate so that, and the liquids will not mix up. I think please do able to understand. So with what minimum force, what happen? I can move this plate. Let A be the area of cross section of plate. As you can see, it's a rectangular plate. Okay, now try to work out here. So there'll be viscous drag by both the liquids. No? There'll be viscous drag by both the liquids. Let me extend this plate so that you'll not get confused. Fine? No. Try to think. Meanwhile, I'll finish off this shading. Okay, the liquids, I'm not permitting it. So you can choose the distance. Means the coefficient of viscosity below the plate will be 4 eta, above plate will be eta, that one. And this everything is a plate. Yeah, the coefficient of viscosity will be so adjusted. Let A be the area of cross section. So there'll be two forces that will be acting, no? One above, other will be below. So therefore, what is F is equal to? Total net force should be equal to F1 plus F2. What is F1? Eta A d minus x into V. This will be 4 eta A V by x. Okay, if eta A V I'll take outside. So this will become 1 by d minus x plus 4 by x. So this will become eta AV x plus 4d minus 4x by x into d minus x. Wait. I think it will become very lengthy calculation. So let me do it here. So what is asking? What is the minimum force I should apply to drag this plate? So let me differentiate this. dF by dx is equal to eta AV okay, this will be minus of minus, this will be plus minus 4 by x square. Look at the calculation once. So this should be equal to 0. X square minus 4 df by dx equal to 0. So therefore this will become d minus x whole square equal to 4x square. X is equal to 2d minus x. So x equal to 2d minus 2x. So 3x equal to 2d. X equal to how much? 2d by 3. So if your plate, if it is at a height 2d by 3 from the lower edge, then open you can drag the plate with a minimum force. So what is that minimum force now? Shall I substitute the value of x there? Eta AV 1 by d minus 2d by 3, 4 by 2d by 3. So this will become eta AV 3d minus, so this will be 3 by d, 12 by 2d or 6 by d. 9 eta AV by d. So this is a minimum force. You do one thing, sir, I'll put it x equal to d by 2. X equal to d by 2, check it. So compared to all, what happen if the plate is at a height 2d by 3 from the lower edge, then what happen? You can drag the plate with a minimum force. Then what is the minimum power? SZB. See, why, where do we use all this? I think manufacturing of sheets for house we use, no? So all that particular sheets, what happen? The moment of manufacture will be very hot. To cool it down, I'll drag through a liquids. So these are the methods what we'll be using here. Wide applications, I'm telling this one, since we don't know any applications, no, we feel all these are numericals. All these are in industries will be used. These are the techniques. Let me take some simple questions. Read once. Read question, I'll just shade the diagram so that'll be easy for you. Okay, look at this. There's a cylinder. And between the gap here, we have a liquid. Okay, that yellow color cylinder and in its, so here I'm going to rotate it. So what is the amount of power needed to rotate that particular cylinder? Okay, now read the complete question, get the diagram, and what forces you can assume. Check it. This is the fixed. I'll put all the data. we are going to rotate the inner cylinder. A solid cylinder of radius R1 is made to rotate in a viscous liquid. Okay, this is the axis. Okay, this is not needed all. Yeah. You have all the diagram very neatly. Look at that one. Find the external torque and power required to rotate that cylinder with a speed V. I think it should be omega. Some. How to get this one? These are the types of questions are there in most of the books, very popular. Now, where is the liquid? The viscous liquid, this is a cylinder. There's a viscous liquid. So once you get familiar with the question, it's very easy to find out. Okay, now let's do one thing. Shall we? I think I need a diagram. Okay, I'll redraw the diagram. Okay, shall we get into the calculation part? Okay, let me assume some DL. I'll write it. We know all the radius that are given. Okay, now what is a torque acting on this one? First, what is a viscous drag acting on this one? So let's calculate the force on this small element. Df is equal to eta area dA. What is the velocity of that? Will be v. At what distance it will be? R2 minus R1. Look at this edge, this surface at what distance from this fixed one? Fixed vessel. Only the cylinder is going to rotate. This is a condition. So is it okay? What is dA? You can write it as dA should be equal to 2 pi R1 into dl. And in turn, what is V? V shall we write R1 omega. We'll agree, just look at the lot of so many symbols are there. dA is what? Area. Area. What is area? 2 pi R1 into dl. Okay, this is the force acting on the element. Force acting on circular strip. What is the circular strip? This one. Then similarly, what is the total? Will there be any torque acting on that? Yes, similarly, torque acting on circular strip. How much I shall write? dF into yeah, dF into R1. So therefore, finally, this will become 2 pi eta R1 square omega dl into R1 by R2 minus R1. 2 pi eta R1 cube omega R2 minus R1. I'll take it. I'll get the total torque. Now, what should be the limit? Anybody wants to propose limit? On total cylinder, torque acting on total cylinder, 0 to L. Because what is the length of the cylinder? 0 to L. So therefore, this will be the torque. 2 pi eta so what is this? Torque acting on cylinder. Similarly, I want power. What power I should have to rotate this cylinder? Power equal to V naught torque into omega. So shall I multiply? 2 pi eta R1 cube omega L R2 minus R1 into omega. This much of external power should be applied on the cylinder to maintain its angular velocity omega. I think, say, where do we use all? Where do we use anybody? Can you really tell where all this? I think you have mixie in your home, no? So mixie, juicer, so many equipments are there, no? Which do work on this particular principle. Huh? From where that power will come? Like a electrical power. Okay, fine. So actually you have to make observation of diagram. Nothing is there. Only you have to make observation of diagram. I'll go for next one. I'll slide down. Similarly, I'll draw a better diagram. Meanwhile, read question. I'll draw a better diagram. Yeah. Okay, there's a liquid. Okay, fine. This much is there. Make observation of things. So, okay, this is that particular disk which I'm going to rotate here. Hope everyone will know. What is a disk? A horizontal disk. That horizontal disk is this one. Huh? It is having radius R. There's a viscous liquid. Read the question and get into the all these are some good geometry based, so where you're supposed to make observation of the diagram. Where the disk is in contact, the lower part of the disk is in contact, no, the lower surface and upper surface. This is the lower surface, this is the upper surface. This is the viscous liquid till here. Neglect the edge effects. The end effects are to be neglected. What do you mean by the end effects? These things, huh? Here, because the liquid is in contact with this side walls, so these end effects are to be neglected. Only consider the effect of viscosity on the bottom of the disk, bottom surface of the disk. Top surface, there's no liquid, so no question of that one. So as you rotate, the viscous drag will oppose relative motion. Okay, let's directly get into the there's a disk of radius r. I'm going to assume a strip. Okay, this one, so let me assume a strip. So let the radius of the strip, let it be small r. The disk is having angular velocity omega. How the tangential velocity of this point should be like this, and what is v equal to? V equal to r omega. Proceed like this. Have this much of information. Okay, let's get into this one. Where the viscous drag will act, viscous drag will oppose relative motion. So it will act at all points on the ring. So let the force acting on, let it be df, that one. So there's a disk. On the disk at the bottom, I'm assuming a ring of radius r, thickness dr. Now what is the area of this one? So let's calculate the viscous force acting on the ring. Viscous drag on the strip, on the circular strip. How much it should be? Df equal to eta dA into V by H. Try to follow this. Sir, where is H? H is this one, no? You take any part of the strip at what distance, it will be from the bottom reference, that one, at a distance H. What is V? Tangential velocity, because it's rotating, all points will have same speed. What is dA? Area of the strip. Anybody? dA? 2 pi r dr. What is V? V is r omega by H. So this everything will become 2 pi eta omega H will come as it is. So r square dr. Okay, this is the force. Already such a thing you have come across where in the torque concept in moment of inertia in the rotation mechanics. A disc is spinned on rough surface and released, then time taken by to come to rest. The similar there, the friction came, here the viscous drag. Now what about the torque on this one? Torque on the circular strip. What will be the torque on the circular strip? D tau equal to df into r. What is df? 2 pi eta omega h r dr into r square, r square, r cube into, what should be the limit? 0 to capital R. So what is the total torque? Pi eta omega r to power of 4 by 2h is asking power. Okay, this much of external power is what I should apply on the disk, which is given an angle, so that it will rotate with that constant angular velocity. I think many spinning instruments will be there, if you go for industry or even in home everywhere. So these are the things what we needed. Slowly getting the idea. This one, different types of rigid bodies will be rotating. What should be the disk? It should be rigid. If it is a elastic body, anything will happen. The radius will change. Then no longer we can't write this one. No. So therefore, the disk should be a rigid one. Now I'll scroll down. Read this question. I'll give some time because I think read the question. First read the question, get some small diagram. Is a long cylinder. So there is actually a coaxial cylinder. Let's have this one. So this is the long cylinder. Then I'm going to bring another contrast color. Okay, there's another cylinder which I'm going to drag. Both are long. Both are long. So let me bring that axis here. And the axis. Let's get into the. So what is radius R1? R1 is this one. What about R2? R2 is this. At least try to understand the question now. It is moved with a speed V naught. Where is the liquid? The liquid is here. Hope everything, intentionally diagrams are not given. I'm going to drag this cylinder. So now he is asking that conditions. Once we are able to do such problems, no, next Poiseuille's equation will be easy for us with the help of these things. Both are long. Okay, I'm just showing some finite length. the space between the cylinders is filled with a viscous liquid. So this is the viscous liquid. So what is this? This is a pipe. This is a solid cylinder. Able to understand question now? No. So what is asking? Find the velocity of liquid as a function of distance r from the axis of the cylinders. So he is asking now, there's a layer. So there'll be a layer. So what is the velocity of this particular? We are very sure liquid which is in contact with the pipe will be at rest, and a layer of liquid which is in contact with the solid cylinder will have velocity v naught. So as I move from axis to the pipe, from R1 to R2, what do you expect? The velocity of different layers will be different. He's asking the velocity at a distance R. So what is our question now? So the question is, at a distance R, what is the velocity of this layer? Fine. See, you are supposed to imagine, this is something very important. Let's get into the thing, that one. So I assumed a layer at a distance R. Okay, there'll be one layer above it and there'll be one layer below it. Will I agree this? So that particular layer all these are okay. There's a layer. I'm drawing little bit thick so that it'll be easy for me to explain it. In fact, it's a thin layer. Yeah. So this that layer at a distance r. So what is the thickness of all these layers? It is dr only. No, velocity of this layer be v. What is the velocity of this layer? V plus dv. Velocity of this layer will be v minus dv. I'm very sure velocity of this layer which is in contact with the solid cylinder will be v naught. And as you move, what will happen to velocity of layer? Will decrease. So therefore, what is this consideration? This is the layer which I'm interested. That is what we am showing. Able to understand? So I'm showing that is R. To make you understand, I'm showing little bit thick. Otherwise, not possible for me to explain. Okay, let's do one thing. There's a layer below and the layer above. No, so there's a layer one. There's a layer two. No. Tell me, like in what action the different layers, the layer 2, layer 1 will exert force on the layer which we are considering. So layer 2 in what action will exert force? Compared to this layer, compared to layer 2, the layer will have more velocity. So the layer 2 should exert a force. This is a reference layer. Huh? Layer R, I'll write it better. Huh? Layer R. Velocity of this layer is more than this compared to layer 2. So therefore, the force by this layer should be in this direction, F2. Agree this? On layer 2, it will be like this. By the layer R. Similarly, velocity of layer 2 is more than that of, less than that of layer 1. In what direction the force should be exerted? By the layer 1. By the layer 1, the force should be towards right. On this layer, it should be like this. Able to understand now? What is the net force acting on the layer R? It should be F1 minus F2. F1 minus F2. And what do you suggest? Which will be greater, F1 or F2? F1 should be greater. So here F1 greater than F2. So therefore I want the resultant force acting on them. Now, what is F1? Eta A. What is the relative velocity between them? Should be dv by dr. Similarly, what is F2? Eta A. V minus V plus, so it will be like a V plus dV minus V. I'll write it. Relative velocity, no, it is. Or overall expression will write it. Again, I'll be confusing. The net force I want. F1 minus F2. What is F1 should be equal to? F1, what is the equation? Eta A relative velocity between them will be dv by dr minus of, this will be relative velocity will be eta A. Now please notice here, why do negative sign? The difference in velocity. So this will be dv. What is the difference in this velocity will be minus dv, no? So this layer will have less velocity than this. This layer was having more velocity than this. And the difference of that, you have to be taken. So this everything will become now 2 eta A dv by dr. What is A? What is area? So I'm going to take a cylinder of radius r and length l. What is the surface area of this cylinder? 2 pi rl. Fine. So this should be 2 eta So therefore, what is F is equal to? F should be equal to 4 pi eta L dV by dr. 1 r is also there. No? So let's simplify for this. So dr by r is equal to 4 pi eta L by F into dV. Anybody limit? We know at a distance small r equal to capital R1. What is the velocity? V naught. At a distance small r, let it be V, and that is what is asking V. But what is F? F is what the thing what we assume. No, let's see what we can do with that. Similarly, shall I go for one more limit? R1 at a distance R2. What is the speed of the liquid? Should be 0, no? Will agree all of you? So what is the speed of the viscous liquid which is in contact with the solid cylinder will be V naught. Here, what is the state of liquid? Will be at rest. So therefore, the limits will come here. So I have to write a comment. Liquid at rest. In between there, we'll have a speed V. So let me divide these two equations. I'll slider dividing 1 and 2. So what do we get? dr So this will become equal to how much? Log of r by r1 log of r2 by r1 equal to V minus V naught minus V naught. Solving this, we'll get expression for V. I think this will be 1 minus V by V naught. So shall I write like this? V naught into 1 minus log of R by R1. This is the expression for the speed V. It's there in Edo. Just I picked up some very good information is there. Let me adjust it so that you'll not get confused. Everything is in order. Okay, no? So there's the one basic condition what we can put it. Say these are all some geometry based observation. You should very good in observation here. There's no concept. Everyone knows what F equal to eta A dV by dr. This diagram is very important. There's a layer which I am layer at a distance are how the forces are acting. This is the thinking. This will be there. This will nobody wants to. No author will explain in the book because they want students to think. Don't blame author. That's the book is not good. You are teaching very good. See, even if I write book, tell me like why I should explain because this is what you should think. No, once you know this, rest everything you can manage. Please be careful about the things available in book. Huh? Some core idea here and there will not be in proper order. That core idea, if you can grasp it, no, you can understand. Similarly, one more question, rotating fluids. Okay, read the question, let me have water. Read the thing again. We have to take the two cylinders. No, he has not given diagram. Draw the diagram. Okay, let me get into the diagram part. Okay, there's a one cylinder. Next, again, a solid cylinder is there. Some other color, I'll bring it. These are the two cylinders what we have. Okay, fine. Look at the all the given information now. So what all the information given based on that? A liquid with viscosity E fills the space between the two cylinders. So there's a space. Okay, now at least getting to the condition. There we were dragging the cylinder. Here we are going to rotate. That's the only difference. So this is a fixed, this is a rotating cylinder and there's a viscous liquid. So what is asking now? The inner cylinder is stationary while the outer one is rotating. Outer one is rotating. There's the fixed here. The outer one is rotating. So we can have one small diagram. There's a thing. Okay, next again. These diagrams are headache. I'll draw the diagram. Okay, this what can you assume? There is some plain diagram at least. Using this, a student supposed to think. Okay, this is that liquid. Okay, now I think I have given enough help. So which cylinder is rotating? Outer cylinder is rotating. You can rotate inner also. Let me take the outer cylinder rotating. So if you want, you can change the problem. Let the inner cylinder rotate. Yeah. So what has to be done now? How to bring that? The liquid flow is laminar, taking into account that the friction force acting on unit area of cylinder surface of radius is defined by the formula. Okay, yes, given. We have to, no doubt, we have to derive it. So what shall we do? So again, we are going to take a layer which is at a distance r, small r, thickness of this bit dr. Fine. So what is the area of So shall I say we are going to consider a cylinder, not a ring. You're seeing the top view. This is a top view. Am I right? You are seeing the top view. If you see from the side, it will be like this, no? I think this will be top view. So now, so what we have to consider? So what is this? A cylinder of radius r, length l, and thickness dr. Now you see this. What is the surface area of this cylinder? 2 pi rl. What is the how the tangential velocity of this will be like this. Then how the viscous drag df. So let's define df. So what is the df is equal to eta into 2 pi rl into v. Velocity is v. At what distance it is? Shall we take it a distance r? Or how to write that equation? Anybody? Really, your engineering or circus, that thinking ability has to come into picture. So how to write equation? df, no? So what is the df? Force acting on that one. So if you look at actually, I have to. Yeah. No, the 2 layers you take it. Let me put here. So 2 layers you take it. One this layer. So which will have more speed? Which will have more speed? Outer layer will have more speed, no, than the inner layer. Will you look at those arrows? Tangential velocity. And what is the distance? R, and this will be dr. So what should be the net force acting on it? The difference of these two forces. The difference of these two forces. So therefore the df should be equal to eta 2 pi rl dv by dr. I should take it. So what is dv? V equal to r omega. So dv should be v equal to, in fact, here r omega. So this should be equal to dv by dr. So eta 2 pi rl. dv is what? R d omega by dr. There's a condition. Because what is the difference in the velocity between them will be dv. If this is at a distance r, what about this one? This will be at a distance r plus dr. So the difference in force, the equation will end up like this here. So what is the basic reason? V equal to r omega. This is a primary equation. Once you get this rest, you can manage. So therefore this will become equal to 2 pi eta L r square d omega by dr. Now let's go for torque. Torque acting on this. D tau equal to df into r. 2 pi eta L okay, this torque, okay, I'll go for integration. Now in the integration, what we have to put it again, the same mathematics we have to bring it. dr by r cube equal to 2 pi eta L d tau, or if you want, you write it d, this one. Again, d tau will get confused. So this should be equal to d omega. Anybody limit? Can you suggest limit? At a distance r1, what is the velocity? Angular velocity should be 0. At a distance r, let omega be the angular velocity. This is the one equation. Then again, okay, no. What should be the limit? At a distance r1, because inner cylinder is fixed, no? So therefore it is at velocity. Outer cylinder is rotating with angular velocity omega. What was given? Constant angular velocity omega 2. Yeah. Okay, right now solve this two. Solve this, you'll get expression for the angular velocity. Option B, the moment of friction force acting on a unit length of the outer cylinder is asking torque per unit length. After getting this, come back and substitute here. You'll get an equation. I think let me solve it. Dividing these two. This will become log of, not log, this will be minus 2r square, no? Let me integrate that. I think it is. This will become minus 3 plus 1. So minus 2r square r1 by r r2. This should be equal to 2 pi. This will get cancelled out. Omega by omega 2. Okay, solving this. Minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2 get cancelled. So the limit will be 1 by r square minus 1 by r1 square. 1 by r square, 1 by r2 square minus 1 by r1 square. I'll write, so the final equation will be omega 2 r1 r2 whole square check it once. This will be your answer. Small r, it should be smaller. This will be the angular velocity of a layer at a distance smaller. All these questions are there from Edo. I just picked up from there. I will scroll down. I will start the Poiseuille's equation. Similarly, you can do this for inner cylinder rotating. Fine. You can try this for inner cylinder rotating. Let me introduce the Poiseuille's equation. This what I'll discuss now, it is there only for mains, not there for advanced. This is not there for advanced. Poiseuille's equation. This is something very important for the flow of liquids. Just it's a theoretical one, simple, some formulas will come. So what Poiseuille's equation says is like, first of all, let's consider a liquid is flowing through a pipe. Viscous liquid is flowing through a pipe. Let me construct a pipe. Okay, there's a pipe. Liquid is flowing through a pipe. So pressure at this particular point, let it be P plus dP, and the pressure at the other end will be P, that one. So let L be the length of the pipe. All these assumptions, we are going to make it out. Let R be the radius of the pipe. Let me assume another layer here. Now, what I'm drawing, it's a liquid only. Don't take another cylinder. A cylindrical layer of a liquid will assume it. Find this one. So this, let this be the radius R. Yeah. So what is the radius? Radius of the cylinder, let it be capital R. These are the assumptions. So we are assuming a cylindrical layer of a, say it's a, so is it a thin or thick cylinder? You can see like a cylinder we assume. So let the pressure at this particular point, let it be P plus delta P. Here let it be P. Who will exert this pressure? External agent, that one. And what is the state of liquid? This particular liquid, it is having uniform velocity. It is moving. That particular layer, cylindrical layer of the liquid, it's moving with a constant speed. Now, how do that speed will be constant? So there should be a viscous drag. So on this particular cylinder, just a simple idea, nothing big. Don't bother anything very thing, that one. If this is that solid cylindrical volume of liquid we consider, the inertial forces, external force is acting like this. That I'll call inertial force. And the viscous drag is acting in this direction. And if moves with a constant speed means, what does it mean? The inertial forces should balance the viscous forces. This diagram is very important. Rest all mathematics will get into this one. Okay, the viscous drag. Okay, get into this one. So this particular cylindrical volume of liquid, what I considered, I say that it is moving with a constant speed. What does it mean? The viscous drag must act. Then who should counterbalance the viscous drag on this cylindrical volume of liquid that is flowing here? The inertial forces. What inertial force? Due to pressure difference. Finish out. There's an external agent. I should come into picture. I should provide that force so that I should balance viscous drag. Then this particular volume of liquid will move with a constant speed. So if I say that in a pipe, a liquid is moving with a constant speed, what does it mean? External force applied on the liquid is balanced by the viscous drags. Will I agree? Yeah, simplest assumption. So shall we put it here now? So what is this? This is a solid cylinder. Huh? Solid. So let's write this one. Let us consider a solid. Let us consider its solid cylinder of fluid of radius r inside a hollow cylindrical pipe. Able to understand now? Pipe of radius. There's a basic initial diagram. What I assume now, I just put a statement. Now, in an equilibrium condition, in an equilibrium condition of constant speed, the net force on the solid cylinder must be zero. This is something very important. What are the forces that are acting? The inertial forces. So therefore, what shall we write? Pressure, the viscous force should be balanced by the pressure force or inertial force, anything that one. If you want, I'll take out that initial. Let me write pressure. This will be much straightforward for a student. From where this pressure, external agent will set up. What are the viscous forces? So we know how to calculate 2 pi. What is the radius of cylinder we assumed? Small r. What is the length of cylinder? Capital L. So 2 pi RL is area. Then dV by dr. Minus what is the pressure force should be equal to? Delta P into pi r square. So what is here? P plus delta P into pi r square. Here P into pi r square. The difference of that, how much will get? Delta P pi r square. All set equal to 0. So therefore, the expression for dV by dr is equal to, let me write one more step. Delta P by pi r square eta 2 pi RL. So this everything will become delta P into R by 2 eta L. The first two steps is the concept. Rest all mathematics. You can see that one. And straight away I'll jump into mathematics and I'm going to derive the equations. So this will be dV is equal to delta P by 2 eta L. R dr will take it. Anything can you say no? Any limits will you suggest? What will be the velocity of the liquid at the location of pipe? 0, no? And the liquid will have maximum velocity at the axis. I think already we have discussed. So what is the entire this one? A liquid is flowing through a hollow pipe. Then we know velocity profile. I think I should give some small diagram. This already we know this idea. If a liquid is flowing through a pipe, tell me like how the velocity profile will be. This is the axis, no? Can you say anything about velocity profile? This will have maximum velocity. Fine. What is the length of arrow? Length of arrow indicates the velocity of different states. So what is the state of velocity? So this is the axis. This is a pipe. This is a flowing liquid. We know some background. This is very important. The layer of liquid at the axis will have maximum speed, and the layer of liquid which is at the pipe will be at rest and maximum speed. Okay, now come to the limit. So at a 0 to, okay, now anybody wants to suggest the limit? The liquid will be at rest at a distance capital R. At a distance small r, let it be V. Okay, this, I think some signs I should come from here. Yeah, okay, no. So any simplification of this should be equal to V is equal to delta P 2 eta L. Directly I'm writing it. So this is the expression for the velocity profile of a liquid flowing through a pipe. Okay, I think this is quite very simple. Put small r equal to 0. What is small r here? I think we have enough. At the axis, this is r equal to 0. And this is small r equal to capital R. Put small r equal to 0, maximum speed. Put small r equal to capital R. What is the velocity of the fluid flowing here? Will be 0, that one. The liquid here will be at rest. And as this layer, what happen? As you move towards the axis, the velocity of the layer will be increasing. And the layer which is at axis will have maximum velocity. Fine. Okay, let's get into the next part of the thing, that one. Okay, there's expression for the velocity. So some numericals are there based on this expression. Please do remember. Very important. Let's proceed to the next part. What we are interested, like, what is the, see, now you can ask questions, sir, what you are doing? See, I'm just trying to search, is there any, what is the role of this pipe? I'll increase the length. I'll increase the radius. I'll decrease the radius. I'll vary the quotient of viscosity. Then what will happen to the flow rate, all those things. So because finally what is very important, how much of liquid per second is flowing through a pipe? Because this is what I'm interested, no? What is the flow rate? Anybody? Flow rate anywhere? Did we discuss anywhere? Flow rate? Any idea? Flow rate? Area of cross section into velocity is what the flow rate, no? That's called like a flow rate. And where do we came across in fluid dynamics? So finally, when a liquid is flowing through a pipe, what is the most important quantity? The flow rate. How much of liquid per second is coming? What amount of it? 10 liter per second, 5 liter per second. That flow rate depends on what all parameters is what I wanted to get an information. That is what I'm trying to do here. Before that, what happened? I must know what is the velocity of different layers here. So shall we say there's an expression for velocity profile of a liquid flowing through a pipe? Viscous liquid, yes, this is. Sir, what about non-viscous liquid? Okay, non-viscous liquid will be a turbulent flow. If a viscous liquid is there, it will flow gradually. If the non-viscous, no, it will be turbulent. So definitely what happened? Petrol is a petrol. What happened is having high viscous or low viscous. It is having a low viscous. That's why what will happen in the petrol bunks? Why do we get a fire accidents? Because suddenly when you open the knob to fill the petrol in any vehicle, no, there what happens if the petrol suddenly rushes, it becomes turbulent flow, and due to turbulent happen, lot of heat generated. Due to that heat generated, the petrol what happen may undergo combustion, and what happen, a fire accidents will take place. So that's why you should open the knob gradually at petrol bunks. So you should not rush the petrol, the person who is going to fill the petrol in our vehicles, that one. We should ask him to open the knob gradually. He should not do hurry. It's a very risky thing. Huh? Okay, now let's get into the next part of the thing. So this is the expression for velocity profile. Velocity profile of liquid flowing in a pipe. Next again, from the equation of continuity, what is the velocity of different layers? The different layers are having different velocity. No? So let me again proceed with the same. So if you look at the different layers, they are going to have different velocity here. So this is the radius. So there's a pressure difference, P plus dP. Already I mentioned. No? So Let it be here. Yeah. No, same thing. Like, what is the flow rate? Flow rate at this particular point. So shall we write dq into v into dA? So dA is what? This particular area. Because like if everywhere the velocity of liquid is constant throughout the pipe, everywhere velocity is v, and if a is area of convection, what do you write flow rate? V into a. Am I right? If the velocity of the liquid at different points is different, then how to calculate the total flow rate? Shall I go for integration? So what is the flow rate at this particular point? Let it be dq. So dq is equal to what you can write? V into dA. What is v? Delta P 4 eta L into dA. What is dA? 2 pi r dr. And what is this flow rate you should call? Q. Will I agree this? What is dq you should define? I think let me define first dq. Huh? Many are not. What is dq? Flow rate in a cylinder, in a thin cylinder of radius r, thickness dr. So what is the speed of air? It is v. Thickness is how much? dr. So what is the area? 2 pi r dr. No, don't try 2 pi rl. Okay, this will integrate now. dq is equal to delta p4. I think 2 eta delta p pi 2 eta l. So this should be equal to 0 to q total flow rate. Derivation, if you find very difficult, you can skip it. Only end formula is very important for numericals. Okay, the final equation will be q is equal to delta p pi 2 eta l. Limit will be r square r dr r cube r dr. Limit should be 0 to capital R. Shall I write or okay, one more step, we'll go for it. R to power of 4 by 4, 0 to capital R. Delta p pi 2 eta l r to power of 4 by 2, r to power of 4 by 4. Now what is the end equation? Will be q is equal to delta p pi 8 eta l pi r to power of 4. What is q? Strictly what is q? Flow rate. What should be the unit for this? Cubic meter per second. That's all, no? Now, what is the idea? If everywhere velocity is v, directly we write v into a. If the velocity, what's happened is for different layers is different, then what we do? First, we'll assume a elemental area here, then we'll calculate the velocity. First, what is the flow rate at that particular point at a distance small r? Then I'm going to integrate here. Able to understand the meaning of this dq? If everywhere inside the pipe, the velocity of the liquid is constant at all points, directly velocity into area will be the flow rate. The velocity is different at different points. Then what we should do? First, we should take elemental area. Then first calculate the flow rate in that elemental area, then total flow rate. What is the use of this? So this I'll rewrite here. Q is equal to delta P. This everything I'll call this as This is similar to, this is called like a Poiseuille's equation. Now, what is delta P? Pressure difference. And what is 8 eta L pi r 2? This is the resistance offered by the pipe to the flow of the liquid. What you should call this one? Resistance offered by the pipe. So in the some, for our understanding purpose, what do we write? There's everything what happened. This equation, resistance of the pipe, not radius it is. It should be resistance of the pipe. 8 eta L pi r to the power of 4. Some books open to overcome that capital R. No, some books they went for cap small a, that one. If you want, you can write capital R as small a. What is this? Resistance offered by the pipe to the flow of liquid. Offered by the pipe to the flow. This is similar to like a Ohm's law, no? Pressure difference, voltage difference. Also like a pressure difference, voltage difference. This is like a current, and this is a resistance. I equal to V by R. This will relating to, so we are going to relate here now. Q is equal to delta P 8 eta L. You better remember this formula, this one. So this is an analog if you compare, no? I equal to potential difference by the resistance. So look at this, these two are current, pressure difference, voltage difference. And what about this? This is like a resistance of the pipe. There's a resistance of the conductor. Similarly, if you take a pipe, this will be pressure difference. Fine. The resistance of the pipe, R pipe, and the flow rate is Q. Able to understand now? Some series parallel is what I'm going to bring here. The derivation, if you find difficult, you can skip it directly. Only the end formula is needed. So what is the resistance of pipe? 8 eta L pi r to power of 4. Okay, let's do one thing. So what is the use of this? Suppose I think in our Ohm, we do all these connections, no? Pipe we are going to connect. Is it just like that? Anybody can come and connect? No. The particular person who is going to connect pipes, no, you must have all this background. What should be the pressure difference available? Then what is the diameter of the pipe? Then how much of water will flow? So what is Q? Amount of water flowing per second. That is what capital Q. Simplest way. See, like if you're finding very difficult flow rates, sir, I'm not understanding. How much of amount of water flowing per second? That is what Q. The flow rate across a pipe depends on what? Depends on all these quantities. So if you want to design, first open a person who is going to lay the pipes, what you'll do? What is the pressure difference across the pipes available, across the ends of the pipe? Then what amount of liquid per second you want? What amount of water per second you want to flow? Length of the pipe. And this is the fixed, we can't change capital L, no? And eta is a fixed, pi 8 is fixed. I am going to choose the radius. The radius of the pipe will provide that particular value of Q. Getting? So that's why you look at the in the Ohm. For drainage connections, we'll use one pipe. For water flow, we'll use one pipe. And for water heater geysers, there will use one diameter. Why the different diameters are used? Keeping all these things parameters in mind. Length is required. We can't change length, no? So the pressure difference, what amount of water, and the radius. These things is what I'm going to take here. Okay, let's go for now pipes in series. If two pipes are there in series, capillary, nothing but capillary or pipes are in series. If there are two pipes are there which are in series now. This is having length L1, L2. Let me replace with symbol A. It will be easy for us. There's a pressure difference there between them, P1, P2. Let's assume that one. Now I want to replace this with a pipe, an equivalent pipe of radius, say length, let it be L1 plus L2. So that the same flow rate will come. So what was the flow rate here? No, the same flow rate must be there. What should be the radius of this given pipe? You can ask questions of why you are replacing. Are you able to see this? This is the one pipe. Say this pipe is made up of copper. This pipe is made up of iron. I want to replace with a plastic pipe. You can ask questions of why you are replacing copper, iron, costly, plastic, very easy. In designing, okay, I'll take that one. But finally, I want to implement this. I want to replace, or you can say this is a plastic, this is iron. Iron will be costlier. So I want to replace total with a plastic only. And that too, I don't want something of like this joint. Why joint? Joint, we do show like this. This will be very narrow. Here I'm showing this one. Sir, what about this length you're netting? The joint will be like this. Huh? The joint will be made. The thickness of this joint you can neglect for at our level. So I want to avoid joints. So tell me like why there should not be many joints, because any leakage can occur here. So I want to replace this with one equivalent pipe. What should be the diameter of that pipe, or what should be the radius of that pipe? So what is the, shall we say this like a series? Delta P1 pressure difference. Okay, we'll do one thing. Delta P2. We'll write like this here. Tell me what will be constant. So what amount of water flowing through this combination of pipe, the same amount of water will flow here. And the same pressure difference I'm going to maintain. So first I'm going to write it here now. Delta P equal to delta P1 plus delta P2. What is delta P should be equal to? Flow rate into resistance of this pipe. Should be equal to Q into R1, Q into R. R is not radius, it is a resistance. We have changed the symbols. So same flow rate, what amount of water per second is flowing, same amount of water per second it is flowing. Okay, therefore, what should be the resistance of this equivalent pipe? Should be sum of resistance of that individual pipes which are connected in series. Now, there's a thing. So what is resistance of the pipe? 8 eta L1 plus L2 pi e to the power of 4. Can you remember this formula? 8 eta L pi r to the power of 4. Then what is R1? 8 eta L1 expression for A4 is needed. No? So R1 to the power of 4, R2 to the power of 4, L1 plus L2 by okay, this should be the radius of this particular pipe. So if you want to replace these two pipes with an equivalent pipe, so then what should be the radius of the pipe? It should be for you have to follow this particular formula. See, in the designing state, what we do, we design later on open to reduce the cost. I should go for this equivalent. So two pipes are in series. What is the effective resistance of this pipe? Should be sum of resistance offered by individual pipes This pipe will offer some resistance to the flow of liquid. This pipe will offer resistance to the flow of liquid. Then what is the resistance offered by this sum of these two? Okay, when pipes are connected in series, tell me what will be constant? The flow rate will be constant. So Kepler in series. So what are the important points? Flow rate will be same. Then what will be the difference? The difference will be delta P1. The pressure difference will be this one. Now, any relation between delta P and this one? Delta P. So delta P1 can we write in terms of anything? So let me go for a few more. So delta P1, shall we write Q by R1? Sorry, Q into R1. What is Q? I'll write nearby. Q, what shall I write? Delta P by R. What is R? R1 plus R2. Okay, now, if you know the total pressure difference, what you're going to apply this, and how much of, suppose that the total pressure difference is delta P. How much of pressure difference across individual pipe, you can use this particular formula. So what is the meaning of this? Suppose if this a pipe is there. The pressure difference across the total pipe is this much here. The resistance of this pipe. So how much of pressure difference across the individual pipe? How to find out? Okay, this is the formula. Similarly, what is delta P2? Delta P2 should be equal to delta P R2 by R1 plus R2. If you know pressure difference across the ends of this combination pipe, then how much of pressure difference across individual pipe means you can use this particular formula. Fine. So this is about the Kepler in series. This will be. What about similarly parallel? We'll take it. Let me finish off this also. Parallel. Kepler in parallel. Now, why Kepler? Because rather than saying pipes, no. So this is what symbol. This is what the method what we are using. Kepler in parallel. Doesn't mean that they should be of small diameter. Or pipes in series or pipes in parallel. There are two pipes are there. There's a pipe. Both must have same length, but the radii will be different. 2A1, 2A2. So now liquid will rush here. So what will happen to the liquid? Able to assume now? So I think I can't. Yeah. So the liquid which is flowing, a part of liquid will flow like this. Remaining part will flow here. So what is the pressure difference? The pressure difference is delta P. This should not be there. Some amount of liquid will pass through this pipe. Some amount of liquid will pass through this pipe. The pressure difference across both the things. I want to replace this with an equivalent pipe. Let me bring it here. These two pipes, I want to replace with an equivalent pipe. Length is L. Same pressure difference. What should be the diameter? So that same amount of liquid, this pipe should make it to flow. So practically, so the diagrams will be like this. Huh? If I draw more pipes now, you'll get confused. So that's why. Fine. So the liquid will come here Q. This is Q. Both are having same length. This is diameter 2A1, 2A2. I want to replace this with an equivalent pipe. So now you can ask questions, sir. Why say this will cost 100 rupees? This will cost like a 80 rupees. And this will cost you around so like a 90 rupees. So how much you are going to save? You're going to save some amount, no? Instead of 2 pipes, you can bring 1 pipe. Able to understand? Instead of what these 2 pipes are, how much of liquid they're making it to flow, the same amount of liquid can be made to flow through this one single pipe. So I want to replace that pipe here. So they are in parallel. What do you mean by parallel? The liquid will branch. You can see this. The liquid which is coming now, some amount of liquid will pass here, some amount of liquid will pass here. Now, what is the first thing you can write? Q is equal to what? Q1 plus Q2. What is Q? Looking at this, delta P by resistance, delta P by R1, delta P by R2. What is delta P get cancelled? So 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. So if the liquid branches out, then they're said to be in parallel. If the amount of liquid flowing through both the pipes are same, they're said to be in series. So what is the value? This 8 eta L pi e to power of 4. So this will become a to power of 4 equal to a1 power 4, a2 to the power of 4. So what should be the radius of the equivalent pipe? You should replace with this formula. You should not just add up. Sir, this is a radius 2 centimeter. This is a 3 centimeter. This will be 5 centimeter. No, you should use this formula. Getting now? Provided open the same together what these 2 pipes. I think if you're getting confusion, I'll write here 4 liter, here 3 liter. How much should come here? 7 liter per second. For your understanding purpose, I'm writing it. Then what you can say? This pipe is doing the same operation. What is the duty of this pipe? They should permit this liquid to pass through. No, this is allowing 4 liter per second. This 3 liter per second. I want to replace these 2 pipes. What is the total liquid that is flowing out? 7 liter. The 7 liter here. That's why I'm writing Q equal to Q1 plus Q2. Just common sense, nothing big. For every 1 second, 4 liters can pass through this pipe. For every 1 second, 3 liters can pass through this pipe. I want to replace these 2 pipes. So how much of this particular pipe should permit the liquid to pass? 7 liter. Then only I can say that as this pipe is equivalent of these 2. So therefore Q equal to Q1 plus Q. And we know flow rate equal to pressure difference by resistance of the pipe. And since they're of same length, it'll be like this. So you can ask questions of why length are same. Look at this, length must be same, no? They're connected. So instead of going for 2 pipes, the same operation can be done by equivalent pipe. So what is this? The second diagram. This is the equivalent pipe. Like this, no? I can minimize number of pipes. You can ask questions of why you are doing already liquid is flowing, let it flow. See, these are the joints. No, I should make a joint. These 2 should be connected and the liquid will rush here. Here at this particular point, cracks will come. So this will be much safer, no? So this is like a Kepleri series and parallel. So I suggest you remember formula. Poiseuille's equation may not be needed. how the derivation came. Directly start with this formula. Series parallel and take help of Ohm's law. If series similar to analogy current will be same. So flow rate will be same. If they're parallel, current will branch, flow rate will branch. Okay, recollect all these things. Tomorrow I'll continue from here. Okay, thank you all of you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.